Hey friends, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel. It is TheTranspondster here with you today, and I am doing yet another speed build in The Sims 4. Today we are doing a little bit of a bigger build, and we are remodeling the Delgato house. Technically it's just a rebuild. I bulldozed their original house, but to be honest, the reason I chose this lot was because I kind of wanted to build a main Cape Cod kind of style home in Brindleton Bay, and when I was looking at some photos online, they all had a very similar vibe, and when I came into the game to try and figure out where I wanted to build, I saw the Delgato house and I thought this looks exactly like what I want to build. So maybe we'll just bulldoze and build here. So that's what I did, and I actually made this one into a multi-generational house. I did not slot it as that though. So technically on the gallery this will be downloadable as just a regular residential lot, not an apartment lot. It's an option for you to make I guess theoretically it would be a garage, but it's been transformed into its own little unit. In the game there are no cars and there are no garages, so it's just an extension of the house. But look wise, I try to make it look as though it was a converted garage, and it ends up being like a 1-bedroom unit, but it's 2 stories, and the bottom floor has all the living space, and then there's the loft upstairs for you to make into a bedroom. In my head, it is kind of perfect if you wanted to play this family as your household and watch them grow and age their kids up. You could eventually move their son into the extension, and that can be his home, or the son could take over the house and the parents could age up to elders in the converted garage area. And how sweet would that be? I'm not gonna lie to you, the roof on this house was the biggest pain in my butt ever. I typically don't mind roofing houses. I feel like I've built enough that I've gotten the hang and the tricks of roofing, but this one was difficult on a different level because there were so many overlapping parts, and I probably bulldozed this house a few times before just going with it on this one. And yeah, it was the most time consuming part of this build for sure, is trying to get this roof right. You can see I'm fiddling around with all sorts of different pieces because I didn't want there to be a slant going into the house, because a real roof wouldn't have that. It would be a little bit of a concern for the structure when it rains. And I'm all about the realism as much as I can be in my games, so it was a little disappointing that it didn't work in that sense. But at the end of the day, I think the roof turned out really great for how difficult it was to finish. And that's all I can ever ask for. It also got tricky in the loft area of that bump out because I have the roof not going all the way through, and when you paint a roof, it paints both sides, and so I had to use multiple roof pieces so that I could paint the inside different from the exterior of the house. I don't do it all the time, but in most builds I do, just because I typically don't want whatever I'm using on the roof to be that interior wall color. So upstairs, I knew I wanted to have a balcony and it overlooked the living space, but trying to squeeze it in and make sure that the roof didn't cut through the walls when I deleted part of the flooring, it was such a hassle. I ended up putting an angled wall in the hallway upstairs because it was clipping through and I didn't want to fiddle around with the roof any more than I had, so I called it a day there. If you're wondering how I got this house to have a sort of split level, I used platforms and not a foundation. So there is no foundation raised on this house. It's all done with platforms. I wanted the extension of the house at the front there to be flush with the ground, because if it was a converted garage, that's how it would be. Your car doesn't drive up a step. And then I wanted the house itself to have a front porch and a walk up step, and I think it turned out really well. All I did was use the medium-sized walls so that I was able to raise the interior rooms up 3 levels, and then it gives me that foundation look that I was going for. And then when you get off the kitchen, which is the room on the far right there with the angled wall, there will be some steps going down into a laundry room kind of pantry area, and then through there that converted garage is connected, so you can actually access the unit from within the house, or you can just go inside through the sliding door on the outside. Whatever your preference is, however you end up using this house, it will work. I wanted to make sure that it was flexible in its functionality so that however your gameplay turned out, you could make it work. Even if it ends up being a rental unit that the Delgatos use as a secondary income. I know their storyline is that, I can't remember any of their names right now, but that the wife wants to stop being a stay-at-home mom. As much as she loves her kids, she wants to get back into the workforce, and she's always dreamed of being a vet, and now that the vet clinic in town is for sale, she really wants to go back to work and buy it and start a business. But I get the impression that her husband would rather she stay home, so I feel like there would be some tension you could build up there with that, or you could make her husband super supportive and encourage her to buy the vet clinic and start her new life as a not just a mom, but a person again. I know her kids are toddler and child age, so in theory, that would be kind of the time that stay-at-home moms might consider to go back to work. So I feel like you could go either way with the storyline there. And I really played into that she would be a little bit more of, I don't want to say nerdy, but like an intellectual sim, big into reading and learning things, and her favorite genre is probably nonfiction because she likes to know all she can about all sorts of different things. They do have a cat and a dog, so I do make sure that I get stuff for pets in there, and I had so much fun decorating those open shelves. I just love the Home Chef hustle packs so much. I think it's so aesthetically pleasing. I can't get enough of these counters, but I think we all wish that that corner cabinet had a different option. Like, why couldn't they give us just a normal corner cabinet and then make that corner shelf an option in the shelving items like they did the just straight flat shelves? Whatever, I don't get it. There are so many weird things that the EA team does that we just have to roll with as its consumers. But on a more positive note, I am really glad that the Sims team decided to restart the stuff packs and that they got a team in Europe to work on them, because it adds a little different taste. And like the half tile dishwasher that they gave us with Home Chef Hustle, it adds a little bit of variety to different parts of the world, and I think we're always needing more of that. Plus, these counters and cabinets are just the sleekest, most perfect ones in the game. I didn't really know where I wanted to get the garbage cans, so I built a little slot on the outside there by the garage, the hypothetical garage, where you could put your bins. And then in the kitchen, I kind of laid those bar stools out like people had been sitting there and they've been shuffled around. It's not all put back perfectly proper. The house ends up being pretty, I don't want to say it's modern, but it's pretty up to date with its renovations. I almost used that new bar from the Party Essentials kit, but I think I ended up using the globe instead because I was rolling with that intellectual sim vibe, and I feel like she would have a globe in her home. Whether she can make drinks at it or not, it felt appropriate to have a globe here. And can I just say, I love this black and white bathroom. It looks so clean and sleek. And I saw a TikTok where someone did that with the mirrors from, I want to say those are from high school years, but I thought it was such a neat idea. I've done it in 1 or 2 builds now, and then I'm making like a little vanity section here. I just put a bar stool so it looked like someone would sit there and do their makeup, even though I believe in the walk-in closet on the way to the bathroom there, I do get a vanity as well. This master suite really ends up being on the more luxurious side of things with their walk-in closet to their ensuite bathroom. They have a full-on living space area that you could decorate. Like it's a gorgeous bedroom. I would love this. And then I did something really neat with the headboard here. I got some of the tall tables in behind. I want to say I ended up using the Dine Out ones after I was playing around with these book Nook shelves. I just didn't like how you could see the shelving in behind the bed. I wish you could turn around these shelves easily without having to fiddle around with all the walls. So yeah, there I am using those Dine Out shelves. I think this turned out looking much better, and it gave me room all across the back to decorate. Not that I filled it all in, but I feel like this is kind of more trendy now to have your bed built into the wall a little bit. I've always liked the look of that. At least it's something I would do in my house one day when I own one and I stop renting and I have the space to decorate however I want and I'm not so limited. Those growing together curtains sized down fit so perfectly on those windows, so I really love how that turned out, and it adds a little bit more of a pop of color with the purple and the greeny yellow in this room. It turns out to be very blue, so I think it needs that little bit extra there, and then it also matches really well with the painting that I used from the home decorator kit. I love when I find items from all these different packs that actually match. It feels like such a rarity. I made it so that there's a lot of space to read and just wind down and relax when you're a mom and you got 2 kids and 2 pets and a whole house to deal with. Sometimes you just need your me space, and I feel like this is like the perfect recluse from the rest of the house. You know, she can come hide in here, have a glass of her bubbly, and pop on some music and just feel the vibes. I started to decorate the foyer, and I didn't realize until well into decorating it that little corner where I have everything placed right now is actually where I originally put the stairs, and at some point the stairs just flat out disappeared on me. I don't know when or where they went, but I do notice somewhat quickly, and I do get the stairs back in there. We just end up rearranging the items in that room a little bit, but more or less they're all the same. I think the only thing that ends up actually going is the hutch that I put in there at the end, and then the dining room is pretty simple as well. It felt a little tight, so I didn't want to make it too cluttered, but I wanted it to look like, you know, they maybe had a little bit of a china cabinet in there. I feel like this house's kitchen is big enough that they wouldn't need so much storage elsewhere for their dishes like that. And then I wanted to do a whole built-in TV unit. I love this TV that came with the Party Essentials kit. I think it is the only good item in that kit besides the bar that I almost used. It just feels like such a, you know, blah kit. I feel like it's something that should have been added in another pack. Like they could have done a whole pack dedicated to different kinds of parties that were missing in the game. Like we don't have any kind of celebration of life or funeral type deal. We only got wedding parties recently, and we only got baby showers recently. I know you can have sleepovers, but like I remember the Sims 3 days where you could throw a slumber party, and I loved doing that, but I feel like every time I did, all my Sims friends aged up. I wish we had a functional bar cart. I ended up using that bar cart looking end table, and I just put I want to say it's the perfect patio tray. It might be the backyard stuff pack. I'm not 100% sure on that item, but I do believe that your Sims can pour a drink there. I can't remember if it's one that will get your Sim juiced or not. I know the spa day one doesn't, but another one of the functional trays does make your Sim get juiced from drinking from it. So it might be this one, and I think it's fitting in that area. But at the very least, that was my way of making that bar cart a little bit functional. I still hope that EA just finally gives me a little bar cart. Like, we need another one space item to gain the mixology skill, because that globe does not fit the aesthetic of every home, and not every home can fit a full-size bar. So why is this something that we are missing so far into this game? I feel like that should have come out with so many of the packs by now. Like, my wedding stories would have been a perfect one. Growing together, they could have put it in there. Party essentials kit, hello, all these ideas. Why aren't any of them thinking of them? Why is it us sitting at home playing the game? It can be so frustrating sometimes, but I feel like there's got to be stuff we don't understand as the consumers, and that's just what I tell myself to make it okay, that I just don't get what's involved. It just bugs me when I see similar items come out and, like, not the ones that I want. What's the issue there?
At the very least, I know I'm not alone in this. I know we're all sitting here thinking, what the heck, EA? But I guess we're all just stuck in this boat that isn't quite sinking, but it's not quite getting there fast enough.
I really love that blue tile in the upstairs bathroom, and I will never not love the bathtub shower combo that came with Growing Together. That is the sleekest, nicest bathtub that we have in the game, and like, I want one. The shower head that's with it. I wish we had a freestanding rainfall shower. That's something I wish we had. We've got the university shower and the shower in Snowy Escape, but they're very basic, hang on the wall showers. Like, I want an over my head luxury shower. I'm in the jungle forest, it's raining on me. Like, that's the dream in this game. I know everyone's gonna say just get CC fixes all of that. Download mods. I am not opposed to mods, but I've had really bad experiences in downloading CC in my past. I was not smart and aware of issues that could arise in doing so when I was a teenager, and I absolutely destroyed my computer with viruses downloading custom content. So I've only actually recently started to download mods again. I've really looked into the safety of it, and I only download mods that are from the creator's website and that are well known and very much used and updated often. So, like, we're talking MCC and Better Build By, the tool mod, which I haven't really learned how to use, but I do have it and I do want to learn how to use it, because it seems like such a neat addition to building. All those in between sizes you can't get, and when you raise something and it's just too high and then it's just too low, tool seems to fix all of that. This room here that I'm decorating is the son's room. I made him really embrace the orange and red tones. I think I made orange his favorite color, so I was really diving into that over there, and it's also not a color that I use often, so it's kind of fun to play around with the different swatches of these items. And then naturally we're moving on to the daughter's room. She's a toddler, so there are some toys in here that she can't use, like that little doctor toy on the side by the cat there, but they're toys that she'll be able to grow into. I thought those pillows from the little campers kit looked so cute just thrown on the floor there. It looks like a lived-in little girl's room. Very pink, very purple, very flowery, something that is very typical for little girls. In the additional unit that I have here, I don't really fully furnish it because I leave it open-ended for what you want to do with it. I put the kitchen in and I put the bathroom in, and you can kind of make sense of the rest of the layout and use it as you need. But other than that, it's pretty empty over there. It's painted and whatnot, but you have free use of that space. The backyard was a little bit difficult to do on this build because I didn't have a lot of space at the back, but if you were to pan around and actually look at the view off the back of this lot, it's over the actual Brindleton Bay, I guess. It's over the water, and it's such a beautiful waterfront lot, and I wanted to make sure that your Sims could really make the most of that with their backyard. So I don't close it off and I make it so that you can still see the ocean. I really didn't want to put it on the side of the house and then that back is sort of left wasted and lackluster. I get some really nice garden areas in here with some debug items. I believe that those ones are base game. I could be wrong. And then I just used terrain paint to paint the floor in the back, and I blended it in with some of the dirt so that it looks like it organically meshes with the pathway out the back. The front was a little tricky too to get the right shape and terrain paint down because I wanted it to look as though a car could have driven in here and parked in the garage. I didn't want to make it just pathways, and then I ended up lining it with some flower beds to make it look more natural and blended in better. Landscaping is not my strong suit, but I also don't think I'm that bad at it. I feel like, I do it enough that I get the gist. It's always best to look at the packs for the world that you're building so that you can kind of blend it in with the surrounding areas to your lot. But at the same time, my mindset is that if you owned this house, you have free reign to plant whatever you want. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the same as the surrounding areas. So I kind of do a blend in between. I'll use some plants the same, but then I'll throw in some pops of color that I want to fit the house. I'm really proud of how the back gardens turned out. I think they look very well put together and well maintained. I do clutter it up a bit to make it look as though there are kids that live in this house and they come outside and play in the backyard. Their parents sit there, they watch them. There's a little seating area to eat at, and then I'm using some of the outdoor furniture that I don't use that often from Seasons and Outdoor Retreat, and I think this lot turned out really nice actually in the end of things. There's a lot for your Sims to do and interact with, and to be honest, this house is just beautiful based on its location alone. I would love to wake up and look out on the water like that. So these Delgatos are really living a dream, someone's dream. I think it's so cute how it turned out, and I think it's very much the style that I was going for with that Cape Cod kind of look. Very much blue suburban, and I get a lot of activities for the kids too. I make sure that they have a pool, and then they have some bikes that they can grow into, and then most importantly, I get the treehouse from Growing Together over on the side of the lot so that there's something that your adult Sims can do with the children as well. We're just going through and getting the lighting done now. It's something I end on all the time so that I can make sure that I'm not missing anything, and I always turn the outside light to nighttime so that all the lights inside and outside light up, and I can see what areas might need more or less. If they need to be changed color, you can do that by holding shift and clicking the light at the same time. It'll automatically pop up. Something I learned somewhat recently, which I think is kind of neat. But anyway, that's pretty much the end of this build, just those finishing touches. I am so glad that you are here with me watching me do this. I have been wanting to create videos like this for so long. It feels so satisfying to actually be doing it, and it is so much fun. If you are thinking of starting a YouTube, I highly encourage it. It's very fulfilling, and honestly, it makes me feel a little bit productive playing The Sims, which is always a huge benefit. All right, I will leave you with the screenshots that are coming up. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to comment any ideas you want to see in the future, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.